Hi everyone, my name is Natasha, and today I'm going to talk to you about an interesting topic, and that topic is all about what is the goal of relationships. So, what happens is sometimes we find ourselves living through relationships and we don't really have a purpose behind it. So, we're just following a schedule, we're just following a routine, and we just don't know why we're here in the first place, right? And then when it's not working out, we wonder why it's not working out when we haven't really understood in the first place why we are even here, right? So, in order to understand this topic, let's look at what kind of relationships are there. So, a relationship, as I mentioned in the previous topics, is any interaction, that occurs between two individuals where they're kind of taking the journey of life together, right? So when we broke down the word into relation and ship, we understood that it's like kind of several people coming on top of a ship, and then once they're on that ship, it's going through the journey. There could be storms coming in, and they're facing those storms together. They're going towards some kind of destination, right? So when we talk about what kind of relationships are there? Now, some relationships happen purely by fate or by coincidence. So, for example, a person is born into a family and they have specific parents. That relationship with the parents it happened purely by coincidence. You don't know why you're born into a specific family. You're just there. You just exist by chance in that place. It's not entirely by chance, but it's just that there is a purpose behind it. It's just that the human being is often unaware of that purpose. So, alongside of that, um, other relationships, so the family relationships happen by coincidence. Now, there's other relationships that happen as a result of our choices. So, our intimate partners, for example, our friends, who are we connecting with on a day-to-day basis? This happens by choice, right? So part of it is fate. Yes, they appear in front of us in the right place at the right time. But how we move that forward is kind of a choice. And that choice it takes place based on a number of factors, like do we get along with that person, do we feel a sense of connection, and then there's other factors that cause us to make specific choices, right? Now, the relationships that are happening by coincidence also at a later stage might become a relationship more of a choice, like how much time am I giving to each individual, or what is happening in terms of that relationship? How is it moving forward? So that's where our choices, our personal choices, also come in, and they have an impact on the relationship as a whole. They also, as we've talked about before, the relationships are often a reflection of our inner self. So when we are having trouble with the relationship, we are often having to reflect on our inner self, that what is it we need to resolve for us to be able to move forward in that one. So, back to the topic, that what is the goal of the relationship? So, when we break it down, we want to say, okay, so we're on this ship together. What is it that you want to achieve together with that person who you're interacting with? And why is establishing this so important? Because just consider you're spending a certain period of your life with a specific person, whether it be a friend or a colleague or your family members. The time that you're giving them is, let's just consider that our life is really, really important, right? Our life is moving towards a specific purpose. We have a specific spiritual vision, and part of that life we've chosen to spend with that specific person. So when you are not clear about why you're here, it's very hard to be able to move forward with that person, right? It's very hard to commit to that person, or to commit the time to that person, or to be able to communicate with that person when you haven't established what the goal is for you to accomplish together, right? So when you are starting off in a relationship, very, very important, beyond looking at what are your interests and what are your hobbies, what's the basic, we can say, mechanical profile of that person, whereas, the name, date of birth, appearance, where they studied, all of that stuff comes secondary. What you want to establish first is, what is that person's spiritual vision? Does that match with yours? What do they want to accomplish in life? What's the purpose they feel they have in life? So if those purposes, for example, match, you feel like your purpose and your partner's purpose in life, or your purpose and the person you're interacting with's purpose in life, are kind of in the same direction, then you can proceed. But if they're in the opposite direction, you're going to have a conflict later on, right? Beyond that, when you're spending part of your life in a specific place with a specific person, you also want to establish, okay, what are their short-term goals and what are their long-term goals? What are your goals and what are that person's goals? And how is it that those goals can relate to each other? Why are they appearing in your life and why are you appearing in their life? What is it that became the reason for this interaction, right? What is it that you're here to accomplish? Sometimes it's very, sometimes you would find it much easier to just speak about it directly rather than, twist it around and take a whole big round to come to this topic, because this topic is more important than the other topics, right? This topic is the core of why you're here. Establish that. How does this person actually complete you, or how does this person complement you in regards to your life path? And how can you make the best of the time that you have together with that person? So, for example, um, a lot of the time we hear the complaint that our marriage is not working out, this person has entirely different interests, this person does not match me. But the fact is that you're here and they're here in a specific time and a specific space. There must be a reason behind it, right? So just take the time to establish what that reason is for the time being, and how can you make the best of it? How can you make the best of that time? That how can you create good memories? How can you progress towards completion of some sort, right? So in marriages, when we get married, for example, we've already established a lot of things, and now we've decided, okay, we want to spend our life with that person. And then we make the pact that I'm going to support you in life and death forever. So we say this word forever, but our marriage is actually meant to be forever. I know that being humans, we strive for eternity, right? We try to make a pact for a lifetime because we really want to be with that person for as long as we can have together, right? Especially when we love them. But sometimes what happens is we enter into such a contract or such a commitment, and then when we have that commitment and we think of that word forever, it kind of it kind of makes us stressed. Have I made a pact or a promise for a lifetime? And then there's sometimes unforeseen factors which we hadn't imagined before the marriage. Things are not working out, right? For example, you're struggling with your life after. And then there's other unforeseen factors. Sometimes you and the person just want to be together for the rest of your life, but something happens in life. Life happens, you can say, and just either takes one person or the other person away. And then we're stuck in this kind of loop, like, why did this happen to me? Why did, I wanted to spend my life, all of that stuff. And then you're wondering, like, you start, you know, you start finding out things or living those experiences that you have not really expected. And that's another struggle sorry, that's another struggle to actually go through, right? So when we say forever in something like a marriage or something like a strong relationship, what we're actually doing is that we're not setting a time limit for ourselves. So if I say I'm going to be with you today to Thursday, this is the goal of our time being together, and this is what we're going to accomplish by the end of it, right? We've set a time limit, and you know that by that time this is going to end, and you're just going to part ways, and then you might see each other again, you might never see each other again, right? So the goals that you will set for that relationship are based on a specific time limit, a specific part of your life, right? If you're friends with a person, or if you're meeting a colleague, or you're meeting a, whatever the situation is, you're going to visit your family who's elsewhere in the world, and you're there for a specific time. All of these things have a time limit, right? It's not usually us that choose it. Sometimes it is us, but sometimes it's just there. And we just have to understand it and go with that. Now there's those relationships that, like marriage, where we say, okay, no, I'm going to be with you together for the rest of our life. And I haven't set a time limit. What does that mean? Why are we not setting a time limit? Is forever meant to be forever for the rest of our life? So, what we've actually done when we enter into this kind of contract is we haven't set a time limit, but we've set an intention. And the intention is that, yeah, you are the person whose life vision and goals match with me so much that I'm going to commit myself to walk with you on this journey for as long as I exist. So, what we're doing is we're creating a completion of the existence. And completion of existence, what that means is that you're going to support each other for not just a short goal, but you're supporting each other towards the life purpose, which is not a timely goal. It's kind of the reason that you're in this planet. The reason you have your life you know, in the first place. You are there to complete each other and to help each other and to support each other towards the goal that you want to achieve in your life, the purpose that you want to achieve in your life. And this is what I want to clarify with all of you right now, because sometimes we have so many expectations from our partners, from the other people around us, that they should be doing this, they should be doing that. And all of those expectations are meant to be for a short term, for a short span of time. Whereas those people that are sometimes in our life, we've committed to them for the lifetime, right? So why are we sometimes wasting our entire lifetime for a smaller short-term goal? Why will we break up an entire promise of a lifetime because one person did not achieve a short-term 1 month or 2 month goal for us, right? So whenever we're having trouble in our relationships, it's a time to kind of reflect and a time to communicate. It's a time where we have to understand and reevaluate our purpose. And we have to communicate with our partner their purpose or their goals in life. So, what should we do when it's not working out, right? What should we do when things are not going as we planned, when people are just not there for each other, when people start neglecting, abusing, and harming each other instead of being the one to help each other throughout the entire life path. First thing we're going to do is we're going to analyze the situation. All right, what's the situation right now? Okay, maybe that person doesn't care about me. Okay, that person doesn't care about me. What's going on? How is this affecting you? How is this affecting your life path? How is this affecting them? And how is this affecting their life path? And how does your role and their role actually correlate between this, right? So you analyze the situation, you find out the root of the problem. Now, the next thing we're going to do is analyze and identify what are our limiting beliefs in regards to this relationship. Could it be, could it be by chance that what's happening in our life right now is a pattern that's existent for us in the past? Could it be that some past experience has given our mind a program to follow when we encounter this experience again later in the life? So you're identifying it. Okay. Could it be that I have specific expectations about a specific short-term goal or a specific issue that does not actually rationally make sense when I think about it on the long term? Is it my expectation? Is there some way my belief is just limiting myself? For example, if I say that all men are abusers, and I'm looking at my husband, my mind is naturally going to say, okay, he's an abuser, right? But this is my limiting belief. It could be that he's not. It could be that he's just, struggling with something and he's tense and he says something to me, and here's my mind thinking, oh, all men are abusers, so you must be an abuser too. Not always the case. So we have to actually think about it. We have to analyze it. Okay, is the belief that I'm believing right now, is it actually happening? And can I change my belief somehow to change the situation around myself, right? And because oftentimes that's what we're doing, we're creating situations for ourselves just with our thoughts. So what happens if I change the thoughts, right? Change the thoughts to as positive an experience as you can. Change the thoughts towards the greater good of all, existence for yourself and your partner and all of humanity. Change your thoughts in such a way that you're headed towards a positive route, not towards a downhill fall. Once we've identified and analyzed the limiting beliefs, we've identified the good thoughts that we can have, now it's time to reanalyze the situation. Okay, with the new belief system, and especially if I've practiced it, did it work? Uh, can it now alter the way this relationship is going, the direction in which this relationship is going? Because always remember, there's always a purpose behind everything. Can changing the situation make it work? Or can changing the situation, how can changing the situation make life better for you, right? I'm not one of those people that suggests that if you're living in a bad, toxic, uh, you know, hateful relationship, to continue living there. You don't need to continue living if you're, it's like your inner self is fighting you, that you have to come out of this. But sometimes it happens that changing the situation, you can change the situation from where you are. And sometimes it happens that you have to change the situation by moving out of that situation. So the person that knows best what you need to do to move forward is you. The person that knows all the answers about your life path is you. But you want to take your decisions and consciously, while connecting with your higher self, with your higher being, with your higher existence, so you can take the right decisions in life. All right. And that's just all I'm going to say for today. And this is where we're going to end this session about what the goal of relationship is. And I hope it was helpful for you. All right. Have yourselves a great day ahead.